just truth in the air. Laughs in the room, real talk everywhere. Late night thoughts say how we feel. This ain't for the fake, this is something real. Uncut conversations, new perspectives in the mix. Pull the curtain back, yeah. Time to drop the filter, listen close to this. Beyond the filter, we say it all. Real voices, no blue when the truth calls. With transcendence, no mean set. Saint yes to pull up a seat, this one's for you. Beyond the filter, beyond the filter, where the real ones speak. Beyond the filter, where the real ones speak. Where the real ones speak. Yeah, yeah. Turn it up, let it breathe. No edits, no mask, just truth in the air. Laughs in the room, real talk everywhere. Late night thoughts say how we feel. This ain't for the fake, this is something real. Uncut conversations, new perspectives in the mix. Pull the curtain back, yeah. Time to drop the filter, listen close to this. Beyond the filter, we say it all. Real voices, no blue when the truth calls. With transcendence, no mean set. Saint yes to pull up a seat, this one's for you. Beyond the filter, beyond the filter, where the real ones speak. Beyond the filter, where the real ones speak. Where the real ones speak.
I ain't quick enough, Dominique. Here I come.
Okay. Well, it was a good thing because I had on my robe to keep my arms warm until we got started.
Oh, you a little chilly over there?
Child. For some reason, the heat does not work as well in the kitchen as it does in all the other rooms of the house. So, honey, I gotta wear a little bit of something on my shoulders.
That's how it is in my bedroom. It takes so much to heat my bedroom up.
I can't listen, and I'm not about to sit up and freeze anywhere. So, honey, that's why my electric bill is a little bit more elevated than normal.
Oh,
because I refuse to be cold.
Mine was so high this past month. I'm like, God damn. I'm glad anybody living with me because it'll be even more higher. But happy Thursday, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Filter. Tonight we have Kendoll KeAnte. What's Kendoll drag last name? Drag boy last name. Is it Dupree? I don't know.
I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him that.
Yeah, he'll tell us that. Make sure y'all click like and click share.
Please
We have a
do.
very interesting show for y'all today with Kendoll. But Dominique, how was your day?
It was good. We're getting ready for our
Hey Key.
senior retreat, right? And so for our senior retreat, that's when we got all of the directors got to present our our work plans, our goals, our just all the stuff that's encompassing our department. We got to present it in front of each other, and everybody gives feedback. I'm not looking forward to that at all.
Y'all have
But
a lot
it's
of work.
something. You pray for something, and then when you get it, you be like, "Why did I open my mouth?" And
Word my
so,
name.
because I did not realize that the directors do all of this stuff. I mean, but I'm very grateful to be a part of this work. I think that it's very worthwhile, but there is a lot to be responsible for.
Well, you
Yeah,
do it. So they know that you are equipped and able to do the job. So that makes a difference too.
I do what I can for the people.
You're the people's queen.
Yeah. How was your day?
My day was pretty good. I ain't do too much. It's so cold in Atlanta. It is
Hmm.
so cold here. It was like 27 earlier. But who am I talking to? Because y'all be having snow down there. Well, at least we don't have snow, right? Hey Shannon.
Hey, Shan. Yeah, because it snowed last night. I think it was 23 here today.
It was
Child,
27 earlier this morning. I was like, man, I went to the store.
miserable.
I tried to run to the store real quick, girl. I put on so much shit to go to that damn store. I was like, what the fuck? When did they get this cold? And just last week, it was kind of like warm here. So that's what's so tricky. This shit will trick you. It will trick the fuck out of you.
Hmm.
Hey, Jersey, this would trick
Child,
the shit out of you.
have us sick as a dog.
Tara
Hey,
Lynn
Miss
Fox,
Carolyn Fox.
how are you,
Hey,
lady?
baby.
Yes.
But
Shout
it,
out to
it's
Tara.
but Trent,
Tara Lynn, you still got that pink gown you used to whoop all the girls in the all fabric gown. Every time I see you, I think of that gown. You used to whoop all the girlies in that gown, but it was such a beautiful all fabric piece. Um,
Terlia,
it was beating beady gowns and everything, child. So yeah, man.
really?
Oh yeah, it was gorgeous. When she won Click America back in the day when they had this pageant called Click America,
Hmm.
and a few other pageants she did here. But yeah, it was such a beautiful gown. But do you watch podcasts and stuff? I watch a lot of podcasts. Do you?
I
You
watch.
probably don't have time.
Well, I catch some while I'm at work when I'm in the because I like background noise. So I listen to the native Podland, with Angela Rye and Andrew Gillum
Okay.
and Tiffany Cross. I watch that. I'm a big Roland Martin fan.
Okay.
I'm always watching him. And then there's this guy that I can't think of his name. I want to say his name may be Clay. He's light skinned, maybe have like a curly texture hair. And oh my God, Reese Colbert is always on his show with him.
Okay.
And so I follow him. Most of the things that I follow are politics related.
Okay, okay. Which is interesting because we got to tell the people next week. Is it next week, right?
But honey, it's next
We
week.
we're having a show about politics, and we're just really trying to reach the people and get them out to make sure that they're voting. Whatever you do, vote blue. Okay. We just
Please do.
we have a panel of beautiful people. Wendell is one of the people, Mr. Diamond of the South.
Mhm.
We have a few more people coming along with us. We're going to be talking politics, and we're going to be keeping y'all abreast on certain things. We thought there would be something very important, me and Dominique, um, to talk about. If we can gather here and talk about mess about people all the time, we got to talk about our future. Yeah. Hey, Marcus, because our life is changing us right before our eyes, and things are, it's just a lot happening. We got to get out here and be proactive. We got to go. We got to do some things. So we're gonna have a big conversation next week about this, and I'm so excited about it. Dominique said, "You know what? We need to get together a panel." I said, "I listen to everything Dominique say. Dominique be she be bullying me.
No,
This is what you gonna do. I'm like, okay, yes, baby mama. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. I don't get no pushback because it was such a great idea. And I would love for us to be more in tune with what's going on in our world. I know a lot of people don't follow politics like that, but politics follow your ass, so you better follow it. You know, and
you sure got that right.
People are making decisions about your life, and you know, you want to have a say in how you want your future to be. No one really thinks about the future in retrospect, but you know, we're living longer these days. You know, we got medicines that keep people around even longer. So, you know, we got to be really concerned about our future. But the reason I asked you about podcasts, because do you like Jill Scott?
I do. I do like Jill. I love Jill Scott actually. And you know, I love people who are profound. I love people who think outside the box and that speak from a very spiritual plane. And not when I was talking about spiritual plane, not necessarily about religion, but just about, you know, just the nature of the world and the nature of life and our function in the, you know, the life cycle and all this stuff. I love people that are like that, and I find her to be one of those people. So yeah, I love Jill. So go ahead, because I start rambling.
She's about to drop a new album called "To Whom It May Concern." So she's back after, they say, I think like 8 years. She hadn't dropped a project in 8 years. And just listen to her interview. She was on Angie Martinez podcast called In Real Life, and she's speaking about friends, right?
Yes.
And I want to play a little clip right quick, and I want you see what you think about what she was saying, and we'll discuss it more.
Okay, my best friend in the world, the only person I have ever called best friend, has been my best friend since I was 2 years old. 2. I'm 53. We've been friends for 51. We've never had an argument in our lives.
I have one since 8, so I know.
See? Blessed.
I know. So I know exactly what that is. That is one of the greatest blessings in life.
It is one of the greatest blessings. And then the rest of my beautiful friends, we're 20 some odd years in, 30 years in of great friendship.
Yeah.
And some people, they fall off. They just have to go for multiple reasons. Sometimes people are toxic. And I know that's a word that people use, but I mean bad energy. I mean,
or toxic for you.
Toxic just for me. Like some things I can't do with you. Like, that just doesn't sit good. I don't. My mother told me a long time ago when it came to like drug dealers and people in the neighborhood. I'm like, but he's so nice, Mom. He's such a great guy. You know, he lets me read him Edgar Allan Poe. You know, he wants me to read him. He wants me to read him stories. And she's like, bullets don't have names. So your energy that you're carrying and the way that you move and the things that you do, the bullet doesn't have a name. I might get caught in the crossfire of your foolishness.
The interview was so good. And I just what is your ideal of a great friend?
My idea of a great friend.
Thank you, Will. Hey, Trayson.
Is someone that I can be totally open and transparent with without any judgment. And that the relationship is unconditional, and it has to be reciprocity there. That's what I consider to be a great friend, because a good friend to me, the good, the bad, the ugly, they love you in spite of. And at this point in my life, and this is going to sound really crazy, in this point in my life, my best friend is Sean.
That's your baby?
That's my son.
Okay.
And I say that because no matter how I come to the table or how sideways I may come at him, he loves me regardless. And when I say I'm sorry, it's like as if nothing has happened. And that's what I'm looking for in a friendship. Or when I say something that hurts him, he tells me that. I'm not offended. When he does something wrong and I say, that was not okay, that's he just says, okay. He just gets it. And so that's what I'm looking for. And I have yet to, well, I think I've kind of found someone that's very close to that. And surprisingly enough, that's you.
Oh,
I
look,
can
you make me
tell
cry
you,
on here now.
I can tell you anything.
Yeah.
And you don't pass judgment. You sit, you listen. And the way that you believe in me, I've never experienced that before in someone that I consider a friend. I've never experienced that before for somebody, because you have some people that be like, oh yeah, because you could have did better. But you see something greater in me than I see in myself. And that's what I think a friend does. They see beyond just what's on the surface, and they see even your potential that has yet to come, and they try to bring that out of you. So yeah.
I love that. I see friendship the same way, and I'm very hard. Like if I call you my friend, I really mean it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll do anything for my friends. But there are people along the way, I think, that we use that word too lightly for as well too. And and there's a part of the interview she was saying like friends fall off, right? Have you ever been close to somebody and you had to make them fall off some, or things had to go different?
Listen, yes, absolutely. There was this female friend that I had that, and I mean, we really shared a lot, but I did not realize along the way how selfish she was, how one-sided the relationship was. And and it's so interesting because when you're in the moment, you don't really see it.
Yeah.
But how it was okay for her to critique me, and it was okay for her to point out my faults. But when it was time to go the other way, all hell would break loose.
Oh wow.
And so finally, once I started becoming more self-aware, not only through my therapy and then through my own personal spiritual journeys, that I realized this don't feel good. And I don't like the way that it makes me feel. And then subconsciously, I stopped calling and I stopped reaching out and stuff like that. But I didn't know why I was doing it. And she would ask me, you don't call me as much as you used to, or you don't reach out to me as often as you used to. You don't want to get together as often as you used to. And I was just like, oh, I'm just so busy, because that's realistically what I thought it was. But I did not know that my spirit was protecting itself, because it was now aware of what didn't make it feel right.
Yeah.
And so my spirit was creating this distance without letting my mind have a say in what was happening. Because I think my heart and my spirit knew that if my mind got involved, I would fight against it. So it acted, so I was almost like autopilot. I was kind of in an autopilot type mode where my spirit was doing the direction. And then eventually it just absolutely fell off completely. And, and I didn't even feel guilty about it. I didn't feel bad about it, because I knew that it was the right thing to do. And then I also realized that it was something that should have been done a long time ago.
A long time ago. Because sometimes we hold on too long to situation and things that we know doesn't serve us. And just listening to our interview, I go through things like that in my life too, where I will have people around for way too long, and they become blood suckers, and you be like, what they do for me, what I do for them, like when it's your time to need something, and whatever it is, I mean, you're talking about me. I've had friends buy cars. I've had friends pay rent. I've, took them out to the best places, bought flights. I don't, But then it'd be like when it's your turn to even need an iota of what you did for them, then it's like nobody's nowhere to be found. So it was so weird that I ran up on her interview and she talked about that because I'm going through a moment in my life where I'm trying to recenter and refocus. That's why I quit smoking weed. Like I just want to recenter and refocus on what's really, really important in my life and the people that need to be so close to my life. You know, like like you as well. Like you become a friend of mine. We didn't even know I always knew of you. You know, I always knew of Dominique Sanchez because you always kicked ass over these pages and stuff. You know, and I'm like, okay, I know Dominique. You know, but when you became a part of the show, like your intelligence and the way you think and the way you carry yourself became so it became attractive to me. I was like, oh, this girl is so intelligent. You know, and we don't give ourselves enough in this business. When we're intelligent, we are looked at as, you know, like intelligent people looked at, oh, she's whitewashed, she's this, she's this. No, she's intelligent. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Because that was definitely the conversation.
You know, because like even growing up, when you see Black people who talk like with some sense and have a proper way of talking, we always say, oh, why are you talking white? You know, and it's not a white talk, it's just a proper way of speaking. Your vernacular was different, you know, so it was like, oh, okay. And then we started clicking and, you know, and I was like, okay. And so we started our show and I'm so happy to do this show with you. And listen, I'll tell people like, Dominica called me, like one day I acted so foolish on our point of view. And Dominique called me, she said, now Trent, that was a bit much. She said, whatever you was drinking or whatever you was smoking, don't you do that no more. You know, like, you know, sometimes you need people to pour your coattail. And then, you know, I have my best friend, Monica. Monica, me and her through a lot, over 20-something years, you know, holding me down in a way that, you know, that I didn't even think that I needed. You know, so I had great people in my life, but it's that point in your life where you have to start letting people go and do the things they're going to do. Because when people won't grow anymore, they'll stunt your growth as well, because you'll be a part of their abilities or this thing that they're doing where they don't want to grow, and then you find yourself stagnant too, you know. So
it absolutely will, because you know my great aunt, which I was, you know, most of my influence came from my great aunts and my great uncles. And my great aunt used to always say, you know, don't be around that person. She's a dead person. And I was like, why would you say that? She says, because she's not growing. She says anything that's not growing is dead.
Yeah.
She says she says human beings are just
like Antonio King,
like plants. And she was like, anything that's growing is not dead. Why do you want to be something that's blooming in a dead flower bed? Get up out of there. Is what she used to always say. So now I've got some chosen. When I talk about my chosen family, so there are some people there. I don't really consider them friends. They are really family to me. When I say my uncle this or my aunt this, and I really love you, I don't consider you a friend. I really consider you a family member. But child, listen, life is. But you know, we should always evolve.
Always.
And I think that we should, you know, the more you learn, because what is the scripture says, do not conform to the things of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So as you learn new things, you should change, you know, and you're supposed to be learning something new every day. So as you learn something new, you're supposed to continue to transform and shift and move and go, you know, so because you should never be the same. You know what I'm saying? So when people tell me, oh, you the same, you know, when people say, oh, you the same as you were 10 years ago, that's an insult to me.
Yeah.
That's not something I want to be proud of. I want you to
want to look the same 10 years ago, but you don't want to be the same, you know. You want to look, that's true. That's true, because we're ever growing. Things are changing all the time. I see people even complain about, oh, this AI stuff. People do AI pictures. Y'all better get used to AI. AI coming. It ain't going nowhere. You might as well get used to it. You know, the world is changing every day. So you got to not be left behind by your old ways of thinking. And I always tell people, the people who raised us only raised us with the knowledge that they had about things.
That is
You know,
correct.
you owe it
Yes.
to yourself sometimes to unlearn some of the stuff that you've learned along the way, because it may not work for you.
Mm-hmm.
It may not
Mm-hmm.
work for you no more, and you have to change. I hate a person who always saying like, "Oh, this is just the way I am." Really? This the only way you know how to be?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
and
it's
and
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 it's the
and,
case, yeah.
and it's not working for you.
Mm-mm.
So
And then
why
most
you
of the time, go ahead, Trey, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
Because I was gonna say, and most of the time they continue to keep people around that foster that sameness. I
Mm.
don't ever, that's why I always, when people say, because I have an eclectic group of friends. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've got older friends, I've got
Mhm.
younger friends, I've got people that are ultra educated, I got some people that didn't even graduate high school, all of that. Because, the more you expose yourself to different groups of people, the more, you just see so many different things and you see so many different ways of being.
Yeah.
And I always want to be aware. And
Yeah.
I never want to be the type of person that I think that, I'm so this. I don't ever want to be a stuck person.
I don't ever wanna be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't
don't
ever
ever want to be stuck.
It's funny you said even with makeup artistry, right? Like, I still watch the younger people that come up and do makeup. I don't look at them and say, "Oh, I'm so much better. I don't like the way they doing this now." Listen, I'm watching
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Y'all not leaving me behind. If you can
Baby.
do it, I can do it. You know, I used to work on sets and stuff, and the older people who've been in the business 20, 25 years say, "Oh, I've been doing it like this forever." But no one wants to sit in your chair anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because you won't upgrade what
You
you've
won't
been doing
change.
forever. You have to add to it along the way. You know, never think that you
Yes.
know it all, because there's something to learn all the time. And if you're not growing, what are you doing?
Right.
I saw Erica Badu talk about fertilizer. She said, "Do you know that fertilizer is poison? It poisons the stem so the stem can grow." You know, it makes it uncomfortable so they can grow. Sometimes we're gonna be in uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable spots. I think that we have a mindset that everything we do has to be comfortable and make us feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
aren't the time when change evokes. You only make change when there's a need for it. You know, like when you're in
Mm-hmm.
an uncomfortable space. Like if your mom made you feel like you never had to leave the household ever in your life, you wouldn't leave.
Right.
You'll stay there forever. You'll have your bedroom there forever. But if she's like, "Oh, baby, you got to go. What you doing?" Sooner or later, like, I'm so sick of her. I gotta go get me a job. I gotta go get my own spot. It makes you want to be better. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Hey, King Run. But it makes you want to be better. So yeah, um, this year is different for me. For some reason, it's just different, Dominique. And it's not about a New Year's resolution or anything, because we fall off of that shit in the first week, you know. But it's about
Absolutely.
a self-evaluation and things that I've been feeling for a very long time. And I really want to be very conscious of how I move, because I want it to make sense.
Yes.
I'm heading into another phase of life. Should I be 46 in February? Thank God. Every day above the ground. My brother's birthday was January 10th. My brother died when he was 24 years old. So here I am,
Mhm.
45. I used to always say, God, I want to make it past 24. My brother didn't make it past 24. Here I am, about to be 46, and I'm thankful for that. And so
Yes.
I implore everybody that's watching, I implore you guys to do something different in your life,
Yeah.
to um to
Challenge
always
yourself.
challenge yourself, always try to make yourself better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Just
you're
always.
right. And I wanted to touch on it yesterday, but we didn't really get into it as in depth. And I want people in our community, when we talked about if the gay lifestyle was who you were in totality,
Yeah.
it's okay to have a life outside of the gay community.
Mhm. Yeah, Antonio, you're
Don't
become a
don't
bold
don't
man for that.
don't let the gay community be the only thing that you know.
That's it.
Don't let that be your entire existence. I mean, you can be proud of being, LGBTQIA and all the other letters that we want to add to that. but there has to be more about you other than that. And don't let that only be the only people that you know. Expose yourself, because those are the people. Because you can tell the people who have not really been exposed to a lot, because those are the people that get offended the easiest. Because they've never put themselves into other spaces to where they say, oh, child, I'm not shocked by that because I've seen it in action. But when you just stay in your little comfort zone where everybody's going to love you, everybody's going to accept you, you're the queen bee or you're the king, whatever, you're so limited that when you really do face adversity in the world, these people are paralyzed because they don't know how to function in an adverse situation. And then they can't even communicate about how I'm not going to accept this from you because, they don't even know how to say that. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to challenge members of our community. Once again, I say, don't let the gay community be all that you are. Don't let that be your entire existence. There's so many other places in this world for you to explore and for you to blossom and grow in. And that's how you become your better self, right?
Yes.
Because the more you take in, the more you know, the more you learn, the more you grow, the better you become. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly.
So stop putting yourself in a box, and
you're preaching tonight, baby.
Yeah.
And listen to the people who's come before you. No, you won't do it the way they do it. We know that. We know that. But the people that has come before you has already traveled the road that you're trying to go down. It is vital information in these people. Everybody ain't out to get you.
Right.
Everybody ain't hating on you. Everybody don't want what you got. You can't say, oh, you just old. That was once upon a time they was young. So they already know what it feel like to be young. They know what it feel like to make the same mistakes that you was making. So when surround yourself with a diverse group of people so that you can be well versed in different areas in your life so that you won't take it and stop taking everything personal. Sometimes sit back.
Nikki, is there a video? Please send it to me if there's a video. He said Glam just turned talent.
I know she did.
You know she did. I already seen it in rehearsals. So I was like, I cannot wait to see it. And I talked to her on the phone today. I said, and I told Glam, because we really connected upon first meeting, right? And I told her, when I talked to her today, she said, I'm really sad that you weren't able to come, because I've had some other things that I've had going on. But she called me. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you are the only competition that's in this pageant. I said, I know you're competing against other people, but your only competition is you. And I said, and you get up there and you make those bitches wish they had switched numbers with you and had made you later in the lineup.
What number?
I think she's number. Nikki, what number is Glam? She's early. She's like 5 or 6, somewhere in there. And and she tried to switch, and everybody was like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's a divine number.
I said, girl, you make them wish that they had switched.
I know that's right. Shout out to Glam. We expecting great things. I would love to see Glam win. I would love to see Aria win. So I don't know. Listen, let's get to it. Let's get to it.
But anyway, see, we're repeating what we did to River.
River got up and left. She was like, baby, about time we got back to her, baby. She was listening to her music. He was listening to his music, baby. It was everything,
Kendoll, right? We are so sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry, Kendoll, but we can get long-winded. Sometimes we need to talk about these type of things, but
it is
speaking of people talking about certain things, this is one of our guests tonight. We realize that we have an influx of female voices that come on here to interview with us, and we don't invite quite as many males. And we was like, well, Kendoll, let's reach out to Kendoll, because Kendoll is a person who does not hold back his thought.
Period. Thank you, Nikki.
I be thinking like, damn, can this nigga fight? Is he an on-site type of nigga? You know what I'm saying? But because he don't mind at all. And we get to voice our opinion because the thing said what's on your mind. And when you say what's on your mind, and once you push that button, people can go in the comment and say the things they want to say. But he's do good with political standpoints and stuff. He's encouraging people to go out and vote. To vote blue as well, the midterms and everything, he's a male entertainer. He's a former Mr. Duval, former Mr. Black America News. Kendoll went away from pageants for a long time, and then he came back and he had a new resurgence. Thing, had a new resurgence on the playing field, and he pulled out the infamous white panties, baby, and put him on and ran the kids crazy with the body, baby. So we invited him on to Beyond the Filter, and we're excited to talk to him and to get to know him beyond the computer and beyond what's posted and stuff. So, yeah, without further, do you have anything to say?
Well, because I'll make it very brief because you know how I get. I can just appreciate someone that's a little on the control side. I can appreciate that. Shake people up.
Shake the table.
Shake the table. Because when you're always
like agreeable. Michelle say, this bitch just shook the table.
Yeah, because when you're always agreeable, you start to wonder, what does this person really stand for? So I think that it's okay to ruffle a few feathers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to get to talk to him and and hear the things that he has to say and learn more about him.
All right. Well, without further ado, this is Kendoll. What's up, Kendoll?
No, that's something. What's up, nigga?
Gangster, baby.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? How are you?
Give it to us again.
I say, what up with you?
Wait a minute now. Is this Sex After Midnight voice?
It could be whatever y'all want it to be.
Oh, talking for the kids. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm definitely blessed to be here.
Amen.
Can't complain.
Amen. And thank you for doing our show.
Thank you for having me.
And as we get, as Lil Kim say, deeper than the pussy of a girl 6 feet. Can you tell us about Kendoll? Can you just give us a brief introduction about who you are?
Well,
where you come from.
Okay, I'm a 42-year-old Aquarius. I'm from a small town, Palatka, Florida, which is just outside of Jacksonville.
But wait a minute, you're Aquarius. Are you January or February?
February.
Oh, okay.
February 5th. So I'll be 43 on February 5th.
Cut up.
But I am a musician, singer, songwriter. I started playing piano when I was 5 years old. What else can I tell you real quick? I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army. I recently enrolled to start training to become an MMA fighter. Yes, I got hands.
Y'all heard that right? Thank you for your service, though. But you been to whoop some ass. MMA. Why did you choose that?
I think it's kind of like an extension of me being in the military with the hand-on-hand combat. I tend to spar a lot with my words, and I'm ready to get back into some hand-to-hand combat. It really instills a lot of discipline in you. It keeps you physically in shape. It takes a lot of mental wherewithal in order to just get through it. So it's going to be a challenge for me, but I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. I like that. And you started that in New York.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So tell us about young Kendoll. Tell us about school, growing up, when you first realized that you were different, that you had an alternative lifestyle. Tell us about what growing up was like for you and how that helped shape the person that you are today.
Okay, well, as a child, I grew up in a very, very loving home. I often hear that some people live to survive, some people live for love. I live for love because I grew up around love. My mom always showered me with love, attention, affection. She always let me know how special I was to her. I remember every day before leaving for school, she'd be like, "Son, what are you?" And she would always make, me respond very special. So that's something that always stuck with me. My dad wasn't really around growing up, so I kind of leaned on my mom a lot. As far as how my childhood shaped who I am today, I was involved in a lot of artistic things. I started taking piano when I was 5 years old. Later on, I started training in dance. I've trained ballet, jazz, tap, gymnastics, you name it. I've pretty much done it. Played several other instruments as a child. And I can recall a time where, my dad was kind of pushing back because of some of the things that I was, involved in. I guess he considered it to be a little girly for him. So, he was like, "You need to put that boy in some football. That boy need to play some sports." So my mom, she enrolled me in Pop Warner, and she asked me first. She was like, "Son, is this something you want to do?" And I was just like, "I don't know. I'll try it," because she always encouraged me to try things. You never know what you're gonna like until you give it a shot, until you try it. Now, one thing she was clear about was that once she spent her money, you was gonna see it through. We don't start things and not finish them. So that particular year, I did play football. Absolutely hated it because all of the girls that I was on dance team with were over on the sidelines as cheerleaders, and here I am out on the field. I was a starter, but me and my small self, I volunteered.
What position did you play?
I played center.
Okay.
And that was because there was no one to play that particular position at the time. And they were like, in order to play center, you got to be, quick. You got to snap the ball. You got to do this. And so me just being me, I was like, okay, I'll try it. Again, going back to what, my mom said, me just trying to make the best of the situation. Well, I can recall very vividly being at a football game. And after we came off the field, I went into the stands, and my dad happened to be at this game because one of my brothers played for one of the opposing teams or one of the other teams. And he made a comment, and he was like, "Son, you got to fight for a position. You too tall to be playing center. You too lanky to be doing this and to be doing that." And so me being the outspoken vocal person that I was, even back then, I made a comment back to him. I was like, "Well, what if I don't want a position?" And from that point on, I never played football again. So, well, I mean, I finished out the season, but I never played football again. I realized that it just was not for me. And even though I did it as a means of trying to appease him in that moment, I realized that it just wasn't for me. And after that, my mom, she let me know. She was like, "Son, just because other people want you to do things doesn't mean that you have to do it." She was like, "You have to be true to yourself, no matter what people say, no matter, how people may feel about you. You got me. I love you, and that's never going to change." So that kind of led, to me being who I am today. Also growing up, I can recall things being said by people, just with me being a child who was heavily involved in the arts. I grew up, in ministry, a preacher's kid. So I was the minister of music at church from the age 11, making money. I've always been a hustler, always been going after a bag. So I can recall a time where things just were, going a little left with that, just because, people had these expectations of me, and they wanted me to be a certain way. They wanted me to act a certain way. And I can recall one moment in church where one of the young ladies got up. It was for one of my musician appreciation days. And she was like, "I'm just so proud of Kenny. He in the church and he's serving the Lord and he giving God all he got. Because I just knew he was going to be a little faggot."
Oh, she said that?
She said that in the church at my appreciation. Now, at that point, of course,
how old were you?
I think I was maybe 15 or 16 at that point.
Oh my
God. Had you understood your sexuality by now?
At that point, I knew that I was different. I knew that there was definitely attraction. I used to go in Walmart and, you see the little, in the underwear section, you see the little ads of the men and the, and it did a little something to me. So, like,
did they have on white?
Yeah, they had on them white panties. Yeah, so bringing it forward, it's.
But what did you feel in that moment when she said, "I just knew you was gonna be a little faggot"?
I laughed, and I think it was more of a coping mechanism for me because I don't think she realized what she said in that moment, and she was someone that I loved dearly. Okay. So I didn't think that she really meant anything by it, but
But this was during a church service.
Yes, this was during a church
so
service.
What did the people in the congregation do?
That's what they did. They gasped. They gagged.
Wow.
And some of my family members, they fell out laughing. But it was that was one of those things. But all of those things, when you combine them,
yes,
they made me question my manhood. I knew that I was getting older, and I knew that I was getting ready to go off to college, and that I was about to take on life as a man. So I needed something to prove to myself that I was just that. A man, and that is the reason and how I ended up enlisting in the U.S. Army. I was
gonna ask you about that. Okay.
I was walking through the mall one day, and this was probably, I don't know, maybe a year or so after that whole ordeal, maybe a year or two. And one of the recruiters, walked up to me and he said, "Hey, young man, what do you think about the U.S. Army? You probably make a good soldier," and all of this other spiel that they were given. And just because of those instances where, I realized that the football thing wasn't for me. I realized that, there was the whole thing with the church and, thinking that I was going to be a little,
a little faggot, she says, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of put me in a position where I just, again, questioned my manhood and questioned, if I could survive on my own in terms of just like being able to protect myself, being able to protect those around me. And because of those reasons, I joined the U.S. Army. And part of the reason that I fight like I fight, not just for me, but for others to this day, I grew up doing a lot of, because I was in the church, we did a lot of the marches on MLK Day and the protests and the rallies, so all of that stuff, the voter registration drives, this is stuff that I've been doing since I was a child.
Okay.
And I did it with my grandmother. I did it with my mom. My aunts used to be out there holding signs on election day, all of that. So that's pretty much in a nutshell how, my childhood has shaped who I am today.
So as you were growing up and you realized that, that you were different, did you always have self-love, or was there a part of you that was almost ashamed of what you were feeling, or, so what was that like?
There was a time where I did go through an immense amount of shame. And the whole ordeal at church, that definitely had something to do with it, just because I didn't understand how a God who is so loving, 1 John 4:8 says that God is love. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And then it goes on to say, for God sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through them might be saved. So for me, there were just a lot of contradictions and things that I didn't necessarily understand. I didn't necessarily agree with. So of course, me being me and being in ministry, and my mom was never this way. My mom was always accepting of me. But just hearing, that I was going to hell in a handbasket, or that I was going to bust hell wide open because of, natural feelings that I was having, it left me confused. And I was ashamed at one point. And it pushed me into a place where it was like, God, are you even real? You know, I can remember when I graduated high school, I didn't go to church for about 5 years because of the hurt that I experienced just from people being so judgmental. And the thing about it wasn't even that they were doing it towards me. It was just me seeing them do it towards other people. The things that they would say about other people in the church, how they would ostracize them, you know, and downplay them, you know, and things that would happen, you know, and the way that certain family members would react when certain people came around that we knew you know, were gay. I can remember like in the late 80s, you know, this is like kind of like the middle of the AIDS epidemic, you know, where there was this young man who came to get his hair done by my mom. My mom was a hustler as well. She did hair on the side, you know, and I remember specifically this particular member of my family, as soon as he left, they went and they threw the glasses away that he had drank out of. You know, because, you know, he was gay.
Okay. Yeah.
And they didn't know if he was HIV positive or, you know, so them not understanding, you know, and just me seeing all of these things and me knowing that I'm different, and, you know, it caused me to really question myself. I tried to pray the gay away, and I was like, Lord, that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Please just take these thoughts away from me. Please just take this feeling away from me, baby. Before I started, well, no, I was messing with guys already, but I messed with just as many girls, as I did guys, and you know, it wasn't forced. I actually enjoyed it, you know, but that was all
I enjoyed pussy too. I really did.
I really did.
It was not a problem, and it don't shit on you. It's just pussy.
How nice for y'all.
You never okay.
Which one you right?
Well, listen.
How nice for y'all.
But yeah, so
you never touched it, Dominique.
Honey, the only pussy I want to touch is my own.
Ooh, pussy don't fail me now.
Oh, honey, it never has. But anyway,
so at what age did you act upon? Like I know I was 19, like 18 going on 19 when I had my first experience with a guy, because it was just like I had so many cousins and uncles like, you better not be gay. You and pussy was like on a platter, so you just had to go around fucking all these girls to prove you wasn't gay. Did you ever feel like you had to overcompensate your masculinity to make sure that people wouldn't look at you in a way? Because I remember I first started, I was ashamed of being gay, like the first year I came out, and after then I wasn't ashamed anymore.
I don't think I ever had to overcompensate, mainly because I was very, very popular. So it was always natural for people to gravitate towards me, males, females. In fact, a lot of the males that gravitated towards me they gravitated because of the fact that, you know, I had all the girls around me. So, you know, it was never a situation where I had to overcompensate or try to. But then again, I never was, you know, really effeminate. You know, I was still a boy. I just was arts oriented.
And what age was you when you had your first experience with a guy?
With a guy, I was 16 years old, and we were in a church group together, a singing group. I was the musician for them, and this one guy who used to come and pick me up, and he would pick, because again, I was in small town Palaca, but I had been playing keys since I was 11 years old. So, you know, it was like, okay, we got this youth group going on. This dude, he bad on the keys, you know, and he only, you know, 15, 16 years old. Let's bring him in. So they would bring me in, and, you know, yeah, we would have our little sleepovers and stuff like that. And it was more than a sleepover.
Oh, it was a sleep in.
Sure.
Praise the Lord.
Oh, he was worthy. But how different was that for you, though? Was that the moment you said, like, I'm done with girls. This gonna be the thing I do?
There was never a point where I was just saying that I said that I was done with girls. I still found myself attracted to women.
So how do you identify?
I would If I had to put a label on it, I would say that I'm pansexual. I fall in love with energies.
Oh, okay.
So you like skillets and shit?
I love a cast iron.
Yes, the cast iron, baby. Because you got to grease them up and put them in the oven and let them
season them real good.
Season them real good. Yes.
And the more you rub them and season them, the better they are for you. You know.
Oh, you better talk.
Well, I got the Martha Stewart collection over here, so
Martha Stewart ain't gonna do it, girl.
So when was your introduction to like gay clubs, gay bars, and when did you first started going out, and what was that like when you
you from what part of Florida?
The scene.
Palatka,
Florida,
Putnam County.
And so, what was the closest city where they was having gay clubs anyway?
Closest city
it wasn't Palatka.
Closest city that they had gay clubs in was Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They had 3D.
And how far was that from Palatka?
Probably about 45-minute drive now.
Okay. And to Dominique's question, like who introduced you and who took you to your first gay club or event?
I took myself to my first gay event. And the way it happened was, okay, so when I moved out my mom's house, went to basic training, got out of basic training, the AIT, all of that. I moved to Orlando, Florida for school. And me just being green to the life, I mean, I had already been messing with boys by then. So, just being in college, talking around with people, I heard about this thing called a chat line.
Mm-hmm.
Press 3 for the back.
For those of us who's old enough to know what the chat line is. Yes. What did you press?
I pressed 3 for the back rooms. Personal, the one-on-ones, baby.
Yes, God. Let's go.
Yeah, so
that's when you had to describe yourself. You ain't have no picture. You had to describe yourself.
Hey, what's good? You know what I'm saying? You got a 6'3" dude chilling on the south side. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, all that.
You gotta give it to him.
All that. So yeah, I did all that on the chat line, and I pulled one. Now I ain't gonna name his name, but I still talk to him to this day. But I went to his house, for us to do the do. And I saw this belt buckle, and it was fully rhinestone. I'm like, mind you, I'm a church boy from the country, so I'm like, what is you doing with this rhinestone belt buckle? Where you wear that at? Because that was new to me. And I asked him, he was like, oh, I do shows. I was like, shows? What are shows? Like, he was like shows, like we lip sync the songs, and I do like boy shows and all of that. And I was like, what is that? And where does this happen at? He was like, oh, we do it at the PH on Tuesday nights, for the talent shows and da-da-da-da. So that, of course, sparked my curiosity. And so I did a little research, found out where the PH was, Parliament House. And on a Tuesday night, I got dressed and I took myself to the Parliament House. That was my first time seeing a drag show. That was my first time seeing male performers, and I'm like, baby, they lip syncing and people giving them money for it.
Mm-hmm.
I sing for real. I could do this.
Yeah.
And then again, like I'm a hustler. So if it's an opportunity for me to make some money or, and it looked pretty easy to me, I'm like, hey, count me in. How I signed up to do this. So that's how I was introduced to the whole club life, the show life. And then of course, it just kind of progressed from there. But yeah, I ended up doing my first show, doing the talent show. I can remember driving around town because one of the first performers that I saw was Alphonse Dupree.
Okay.
And
did he have a rhinestone belt buckle on?
No, he didn't have a rhinestone belt buckle on.
Okay.
He had these like flowy, like I remember how Fonzie used to have the things dangling from his arms.
Body, baby. Yes, God.
Yeah, showing his body. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that, yeah. But I ended up being introduced that night to a few of like the drag girls that were up and coming, and this one young lady one young man. His name was Wayne. He's passed away since, but his name was Michon Bonet. He was like, "Oh, you sickening. You ought to do drag. You should be my daughter." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh, they want to put you in.
Yeah, they was trying because of my facial features. They was trying to get me in. I was like, "No, I ain't doing no drag.
Been in drag?
Like, I've never done it. Never."
I'm about to paint your face one day. Go ahead.
I'm good.
He said he'll pass trend.
Don't worry about your voice. That's other people to say.
He said, "No, I'll pass."
You called that Tasha.
Hey, Tasha.
Tasha
Yeah, I called it too, Tasha.
Is that Tasha Long?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Tasha Long.
Tasha is one of the first people that I saw like do drag shows. At the Parliament House. She did brown skin, and she had on this like.
Tasha used to work at the Parliament House too.
But the way she had ate brown skin up by India Arie.
Yes, I remember when they came out.
Ooh. Yeah, but so Michon ended up becoming my drag mother at the time, just because she was like, "You want to do shows?" She's like, "I think you should do it." You know, she was trying to get me to do drag, but I was like, "I'm not doing no drag." Like I could see now me explaining to my mama that I'm dressing up in women's clothes. You know, it's already one thing that I'm around here messing with boys. You know, and you know, my family is very much holding this before the Lord.
And they used to always say, "You could be gay, but don't dress as no girl. Don't come home as no woman." That used to be one of the key things people used to say back in the day.
Yes. Yeah. So
I imagine you in a pair of 6-inch spikes. You would took you to like 7 feet. My God.
Yeah. So I ended up. I remember I was driving around and I was going to all of the stripper shops. Because I'm like, I'm finna get ready for my first show. I'm going to all the little stores. Mind you, I'm being independent, trying to figure it out on my own. And I'm like, I can't find these costumes nowhere. Where do they be getting them from? And so I finally asked Michon. She was like, "Oh, Funds is sew his own stuff." And I'm like, he sew his own stuff. You know,
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. So I went to Walmart and to buy me a sewing machine, and Michon showed me how to use like a pair of pants to make a pattern out of and you know create garments that way. So
wow, okay,
that's how I ended up doing my first show. My first show was Music Soul Child So Religious. I remember I had on a gold pair of like spandex pants, but I didn't know anything about proper undergarments or anything at that particular time. So
I know you had dick everywhere.
When I did the show, baby, I got paid.
I know you did.
I'm thinking I went out there and turned and see. I knew I could do this. Oh yeah, I'm in there. I'm making money, baby. The whole time it's because all my print just hanging to the left
down.
Or whatever. And Marquise Bonet, y'all know him as Manda. He used to do like the music and stuff for Black Universe. He was a music coordinator for them for a long time. But it was like, when you're doing your shows, you got to do this. You got to do, you know, you can't, you know, because the people weren't paying you because you was breaking the show up. They was paying you because they saw that meat you got, you know, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like, got it. And so Manda became my other drag mama. I thought he was gonna be my drag dad, but you know, okay, I'm sorry, I'm in the misgender mama.
You indulged in the tuck belts.
Well, no, I didn't indulge in a tuck belt, but
no, I'm talking about Amanda.
Hi, Eric.
But I learned how to, you know, Eric. I learned how to properly position and, and do all of those things. But yeah, that's how I got introduced to the gay life, the show life. And then, like I said, it was just a progression from there. After I did the shows, I started doing, you know, the talent competitions and made it to finals. And then from finals, it was just like, you know, I was introduced to pageantry. My actual first boyfriend in adulthood was Neandre Bonet.
Okay. Oh, shout out to Neandre Nebo.
So when y'all hear him making those jokes, you know, like that's my baby and stuff like that, that's what he's referring to. And he
gave you a place to hang your meat. Shout out to Nebo.
Hey, Ronnie.
I mean, but he introduced me to the pageant world, and it was because he needed some backup dancers for a competition he was doing. He was competing in Renaissance. So Renaissance, the year that Neandre won, was the first pageant that I ever attended. And from there, I was just like, I got to get me a piece of this.
You want to do this?
Yeah.
It's easy to get the bug.
So that was pretty
much what was your first pageant?
The first pageant I competed in was Black America Newcomer. So Neandre and I ended up, splitting. It wasn't anything bad or anything, but we were both young. Again, that was my first boyfriend.
Camille done put her whole thing. Shout out to Camille.
So
Black America was your first pageant, and you won your first pageant.
So after Neandre, I started dating this guy named Pop, and he was Kenyatta Iman. That was his stage name. But he had, when I met him, he had just won Black America Newcomer or whatever. So I went, it was me and I think Jahari and Eve. We went over to his house for something. I don't even remember what it was, but he just had all these glass plaques, and I'm like, oh, that's fancy. It's not like the regular little talent show plaques we be getting back for the talent shows.
Yeah,
there's some glass stuff that's engraved and embossed, all of that. I'm like, what is this? And he was like, oh, I just won a pageant, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I've been to a pageant before. He was like, yeah, I won Black America Newcomer, or whatever. So I was like, interesting. So, of course, we started dating a bit, and then I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do your give up. And so I put, myself together, and that was that.
Like, who helped you put that package together, though? Because you still new into this thing. Like, how did you learn about stage presence and all of these things? Because Black America Newcomer was so coveted back then. It was hard to win that pageant, I feel like. How did you learn all of that?
Well, for me, it was just a transition from what I was already doing. I was already modeling as a child. My mom got scammed when I was like 12, 13 by John Casablancas. We can teach them the things that they don't teach you in school and all of that. But because of me being the type to see things through, it actually turned into something for me. So I was modeling, I was going on shoots and doing shows, things of that sort. I also had a background in dance because I think I started dancing at maybe like 10, 11. I started training, like taking technical training courses, all of that. In addition to me being a musician and being a minister of music in church, I was in front of people every week.
Right.
So that was just an easy transition for me to be able to, use my gifts, as my mom, would say, because that was one thing she was always on me about. She was like, son, you need to use your gifts. I done spent too much money on you to be able, for you to be able to do this and you to be able to participate in that, for you not to be using your gifts. You need to be using your gifts. If you don't use them, you lose them.
That's it.
So I felt like that would be a good transition for me in order to, use my gifts. And so as far as my package was concerned, I really did not have a bunch of assistance in terms of what I presented. My presentation, I kind of went standard with what, other people
used
had
to be
done
all
the
the glitters and
year.
shine back then, right?
Yeah, it was all the glitters and shines. So I did a beaded lace with, the black pants and the black velvet pants and the velvet lapel. And then back then, there was this lady named Miss Catherine in Orlando who used to make all of the pageant kids, stuff, all the ones that won. That was who made all their garments. So I went to Miss Catherine and she gave me that traditional rose bow tie. It wasn't a bow tie, it was just like this little folded fabric that looked like a rose. And then I had on, the beaded lace for presentation. I sketched out my own sportswear, but I didn't win sportswear because I listened to Pop and he told me to get Punty to have her to make the sportswear out of.
Ooh, that Punty come with birds on it.
Yeah, Punty was
cheap.
Yeah.
It looked cheap on stage. Yeah, you gotta be careful.
And it, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I didn't win sportswear. Formal wear, I went to KNG,
Nice.
and I got an all ivory formal wear. I wore ivory from head to toe, and Miss Catherine, she tailored it. I still remember the formal wear was like $79. And for talent, I was heavy in the musical theater, so I actually posted my talent a few days ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
I choreographed, put my own talent together. I built the props, and then initially I was trying to get Erica Onassis Sanchez to be my girl because she was a former Black American newcomer, but for whatever reason, she couldn't do it. But she was like, my daughter Eve, she can do it or whatever. So that's how me and Eve became the best of friends. And she ended up dancing with me in my talent. Reggie Hobbs, Dwayne,
Reggie was a dancer?
Reggie was my backup dancer, and he was the one who was looking me over in the back to make sure I was good. So Reggie has been with me since day one.
Get out of here, Reggie. There ain't nothing Reggie can't do. Reggie a Pisces too. Pisces are very talented people. But you don't dance and stuff for talent anymore, huh?
I haven't danced in a while. When I came back to pageantry, it was just easier for me to sing because I didn't have to pay nobody. I didn't have to,
Do you feel like they judge singers harder than they judge everybody else? Because I don't even think they respect singers in a way, like as it pertains to talent.
I don't think that it's necessarily that. I think that pageants weren't designed for live acts. So a lot of the times the infrastructure is not there for us to shine like we need to. They don't have, the compression on the mics like they should. They don't have the equalizers that most professional sound systems have. They don't have, the mixing boards where you can take a dry mic and add the proper reverb to, make it sound. It doesn't matter how good of a singer you are. If you're singing on a dry mic, you're going to hear inconsistencies. That's natural in the human voice. You're going to have those inflections and things. And so sometimes it can work to our detriment when, we are singing live and we don't have the proper setup. So in those moments, you just have to adjust and pick songs that, can display your vocals without having to
the best equipment.
The best equipment. Hence me singing best part at Duval because I knew Sade ain't finna have no setup like that for me to be in singing no opera. So let me go ahead and do
and you
something.
Sing opera?
Yeah, I'm classically trained.
Let me hear a little bit.
Y'all didn't hear that?
Y'all
heard of that MBU when I didn't win talent.
I hear you talking in opera right now. And your low register.
I'm a bass baritone.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Do you feel like you get your just due in the male pageantry space?
I feel like I am now. But I felt like I had to work for it. And I think that's what differs the ones who came out back when I came out versus this new generation. It's like they want everything overnight and they want to feel like they're that girl or the it person, immediately. It took years of me cultivating, my skills in pageantry before, I was ever really recognized as being someone. And it wasn't until recent that, I started to feel like I was someone or receiving the recognition that I felt like I was due. You often hear about people saying that they don't book males. I can count the number of times I've been booked in my home cities or in like Atlanta, and places like that. But I travel all the time for bookings because people have seen me compete across, the US. I don't mind traveling. And as a result, it opens up doors for you, so I do feel like I'm receiving my just due. I do feel like I'm that nigga.
You feel like you're that nigga
in pageantry.
What's your ultimate goal in pageantry? What pageant system would you win that you really, really want to be a part of now?
I've already won them.
Okay. So if you don't get another one, you fine.
If I don't get another one, I'm fine. I mean, there are still ones that I aspire to be, but the only thing that I ever wanted to be and I didn't know it at the time was Black America. But once I became a part of Black America, that became my family. That's who raised me. That's who shaped me in pageantry. That's who, taught me the ins and outs. That's who shielded and protected me, from the industry, from the community. I got away with saying a lot even back then, just because of who my parents were and who I was affiliated with.
Okay.
So that was my covering, Black America, and the other was Duval. I competed in Duval 3 times before I won. But Duval is right up the road from my hometown, so when I would go to Mr. Miss Duval, Miss Duval Newcomer, all of those pageants, I always aspired to be that. So when I came back to pageantry, I was like, I got to get that. I'm back. I'm definitely going back around there. But there are some other ones that are on my list.
Okay. What are they?
Well, I plan to compete in Mr. Florida GQ, which is on February 1st. I also will be going back to Glamorous this year.
Okay.
I felt like I could have been Mr. Glamorous this year, or this past year, had I known what I learned when I went.
And what was that?
Just what they're looking for, like what actually won certain categories wasn't what I
we will, Enrique.
There were I'll be transparent. There were certain things that I didn't agree with about last year, not necessarily the results.
What did you place last year?
I was second runner-up.
Okay.
But had certain issues been remedied, it could have switched some positions. And you win some, you lose some. I ain't crying over it. That's why I'm going back to get my things.
Yes.
So I'm doing Glamorous. And then I have a few other ambitions that I'm not at liberty to discuss right now, because my team is very much like, you never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And I've always been the type to just kind of tell people what I was doing and just, give people the opportunity to prepare for me to come. And my team absolutely hates that about me. I don't care.
What's wrong with campaigning, though? Ain't that campaigning?
I mean, and then some people say you scaring off contestants, and I'm like, if they're scared, they're scared. That has nothing to do with me. That's a them problem,
right?
But exactly. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. Like, if you're gonna beat me, you're gonna have to beat me. I'm not scared to compete. That's what I love about pageantry. I love competing. I love competing against the best of them. I want all y'all to line up. That way, when I win, it's gonna be like, yeah, I beat him, I beat him, I beat him. Just like when I did Black American Newcomer. Quentin Tajor was a contestant.
Shout out to the king.
Jaylon Melise Dickerson was my first runner-up. It was a lot of them. It was like 10 boys day.
10 boys. What year was this?
This was 2003.
I won
Marzell Brooks, Ecstasy,
Javon
Mays. Like it was a whole gang of us, and all of those guys have gone on to win, bigger and better things. So when you compete against the best, that's what conditions you to become the best.
Listen, say that again, because I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, when you compete against the best, that's what conditions you to become the best.
To become the absolute best. People just want an easy win and say they got a title, a medallion, or something. But baby, get in that ring and fight with people.
They want the clout.
You were around in like 2003, the early 2000s it was like crazy time for our community, because we was indulging in a lot of things, right? It was easy to pass on checks, fake IDs and stuff. Were you ever introduced to that part of life coming out, or did you?
I definitely was.
Yeah,
I definitely was, and there were the statutes of limitations have passed now. So, so one of the other things that I did was I was always heavily into computers. So, around the age of 12, I was one of the first kids on the block in our neighborhood who actually had a computer. And I had my own, not my mom's computer, not the family computer. I had my own computer in my own room with printer, color monitor, the whole nine. It was called an IBM compatible. That's when they used to basically piece computers together with different parts. So I had one of those, and I got into graphic design. And I just lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
About getting into the scam of things.
Okay, yeah. So what ended up happening? What ended up happening was I ended up dating this one guy, and he was a check writer, and he kind of explained to me what he was doing. I'm like, okay, so I'm just looking and being observant, and I looked at the checks that he had, and I'm like, this what you using? I was like, these don't even look real. I was like, checks had a little lock on it. Why you ain't got no lock right there? So me being the Photoshopper that I was, I went in Photoshop and I doctored up him a check. And the rest was history.
Were you ever caught doing any of these things?
They came knocking on my door. In fact, they came to my mama house.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they came to my mom's house, not looking for me. They were looking for this particular person. And it was like, if you find me, you'll find him. Because they were looking for him, they couldn't find him. And yeah, they questioned me. But again, I come from a family of, that's affluent. We weren't rich, but my mom was very well off, and she sacrificed to, make sure that our family was good. And I basically told them, y'all want to talk to me, y'all gotta go through the attorney. And I never heard anything back from them. They did let me know that they weren't looking for me. They wanted the big fish. But I never, said anything or told anything. I ain't no snitch now.
I know that's right. You better live by the code of the streets.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I was involved in, some of my friends were definitely, involved in that realm. And then who didn't do a return?
Listen.
That's how I paid my entry fee to Black America. In fact,
yeah.
Here go your sponsorship or return. You got to take it back. You got to get the money for it, and then
it was easy back then. They would just hand you that money like it was nothing. I think the gays made them change everything about their systems to make sure we didn't get it back. Because we closed down Hancock's and Joann's and all kind of stuff
with check systems, Verifax.
Listen, we made them step their pussy up. Do you hear me?
All of that.
You talked about earlier that everybody wants something easy now, right? Because like a lot of the children now who watch y'all, because now we have the internet and they get to see things, and it just looks like that. Oh, they ain't been in the business no time, and now they get to do this and that. There was a post made the other day about male entertainers that don't get booked. They always want to over-sexualize them. And I seen you say, I got so much to say, but I'll hold it. Tell me what you feel about that subject.
Well, let's talk about the over-sexualizing part.
Okay.
I believe that it's cause and effect. I think the cause was people wanted to make money. People don't really have talent. People don't have a skill set, or people aren't willing to train and hone their craft. So they do what becomes easy for them. They know if they got a nice little set of cakes on them, they got some nice assets, they'll just go out and they'll show their assets as if they're, adult entertainers or such. And because, this community has this thing where we like to over-sexualize people, especially the men, they made some money. So that became easy work for them, easy money for them. If they do a show, they got to wear a cat suit that's hugging every part of their body. That's why you don't see me in cat suits. I don't like being over-sexualized, and I feel like I'm selling my soul, when I do that, because I'm one of, I'll say it, the few that actually has talent, that actually can captivate a crowd that actually can, pull you in just with the lip sync alone. I think that what a lot of males are missing is that je ne sais quoi. They don't have that it factor anymore. I don't think that that's something that can be taught, but I do believe that it can be cultivated if you already have it. And I think that's what's lacking. People just want to be included. They want to be a part of something. And rather than our community being honest with a lot of them and saying, baby, you just don't have it, we want to be inclusive.
Do you? I'm glad you said something. I'm not that inclusive word, because I always say sometimes that whole idea of being inclusive with everything can get us in trouble.
It can.
I don't think everything is for everybody.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you feel about this inclusivity that they got going on now? Like, this could be this and that's gonna be that. It's not for everybody, right?
No, it's definitely not for everybody. At least not male lead. And I think that inclusion has gotten us to a point where I understand, inclusion in certain spaces, in certain areas of living, but you can't go and join a baseball team and be like, well, I don't like the fact that I can't throw a football over here. There's a time and a place for everything. And I get in trouble a lot for this, but I feel like I don't necessarily care for the double standard where we can, judge a drag queen for being hard or being less effeminate or being masculine or, being a brick, but then when it comes to the male persona, we don't give that same energy and space for them.
And why do you feel that is?
Because of inclusion, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't have the opportunity to perform or to do what they want to do. But my thing is, if you're going to do it, you have to be the best at what you're doing. You have to take the time to hone your craft. You have to, exercise those abilities so that you're giving the people something. Prime example, and I actually talked to him the other day, and I explained to him how I always use him as an example. Kavani Munn, he wasn't a masculine performer. Most of the time he performed to Prince. He was very much the J setter. He'll throw an 8 count real quick, 16 count, whatever. He had on, some very form-fitted pants that showed off his assets and a heel.
And he shaped.
By the time he got off that stage, you was like this. And it wasn't because you was looking at his assets. It was because he had the ability to entertain you. He had that je ne sais quoi, that it factor that I was just referring to. You can tell that he has had some training outside of the drag world, outside of the pageantry sector. You can tell that he is a trained dancer and he uses those skills to pull an audience in. I think, again, that's what a lot of these male entertainers are doing. They just want there to pick me. Y'all booking them. Every show ain't for everybody, and if these people aren't booking you, stop complaining about it. Go somewhere where you are celebrated. Create your own lane if that's the case. I consider myself, one of the premier male leads now. And I don't get booked everywhere, but I don't get offended when they say that they don't book male leads. Okay, that's fine. I'll go somewhere else where they will book me. And then a lot of the times people don't understand that this is also a business. If you have nothing to offer that business that, is going to reciprocate the booking fee that they're giving you, then why should they book you? You ain't bringing nobody to the club. You don't have a following. Nobody wants to see you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is, after you perform, nobody's saying, oh, bring him back. And then you're upset because you're not getting booked. Just because you hold a title does not make you bookable.
Because I know people with several national titles who don't get booked.
Yeah, I mean, and some of them shouldn't.
Absolutely. You heard it here.
We sure
that's why I be getting in trouble because I say these things, and then when I put them in text form, They don't hear, you know, the tone of my voice to see that, you know, like I'm not aggressive. I'm not bashing y'all. I'm just, you know, arguing a different point. You know, it's
so let me ask you, you know, because you state your opinions on these subjects. Do you do that because you feel like these are things that need to be said, or that you feel that's important, that there are some things that people need to hear, or do you just like to see your own words in writing?
I do it because I feel like these are things that need to be said. And when I grew up in this, I grew up during a time where you would have those leaders of the community that will come and tell you, no, baby, don't do that again. I remember I did a talent show at Southern Nights. Angelica Sanchez, she had this show. I can't remember what night it was. I think it might have been a Thursday night. This is like right when I first started doing shows. And of course, they had like a little $50, $100, you know, $75 cash prize for the winner, something like it wasn't much, but you know, you're gonna get your little tips. Excuse me, and all of that stuff. So I went, and I can't remember the song that I did, but it was something very slow. And because I have training in dance, I lip synced it, but you know, it was very much a modern dance piece as opposed to a male lip sync. You know, there was nothing wrong with what I did, but it wasn't the time nor the place for when I did it. You know, like, and Spanky Dupree Hawkins, he came in the dressing room. He was like, "Son, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I'm gonna tell you, don't you do that shit no more. Don't you ever do that again."
Shut up.
That's exactly what he told me over there. And I'm still looking like, what? He was like, "No, you say that shit for a pageant. This ain't the place for that." You know, and you know, the natural response would be to get offended, but me having dealt with, you know, very strict, stern trainers all of my life, it was just like, okay, this man clearly know what he's talking about, and he's, you know, giving me some advice that, you know, I don't need to do that shit no more. You know, and from then, you know, that, you know, it just let me know, like, hey, you know, there's a standard. There are certain things that you should do. There are certain things that you should not do. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. So I don't just speak online because I want to hear myself talk. Like, that's not the case at all. Like, I just feel like nobody's saying what needs to be said, and people are so afraid of being the one to offend, you know, and wanting to be so politically correct that we have an industry that's dying. And it's not because, you know, we're killing it necessarily. It's because we're not speaking up and saying what needs to be said. And then the other part that I've learned is a lot of this new generation, they don't want to hear that shit. They don't care. They want to do what they want to do. I'm me. I'm going to be me. Okay, you can be you, but that does not change the fact that there's a standard, you know, and once you grasp the standard and understand the prerequisites for such things, that's when you'll evolve into being the best version of you in who you are. You know, you don't have to change who you are. I've been me since day one, you know, but I have evolved because I have studied and I've learned the standards for certain things in a game and in an industry that I want to play, you know, that I want to play in. If you want to win the game, you got to learn the rules.
And so who do you think is responsible for this new culture that is ushered in? Because, you know, like you have just said, and like Trent has said, and I've said before, there was a time when we wouldn't dare buck our elders in the industry. When they spoke, we listened. And when they gave us advice, we took heed to what they're saying. But like you just said, now this new generation is, I don't give a damn what you're talking about. You're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. Who do you think is responsible for allowing that to be what, you know, because that is now the standard. You know, people can do what they want to do, and nobody says anything. And then when you do say something, people say you're being a bully. You know, even some of the more experienced people say, let them kids be. Who do you think is responsible for allowing this to be the new standard?
I think it's twofold. I think the kids just want to do what they want to do. That's part of it. And then the other part is that the elders of the community have given up on the kids. I don't have a problem saying I'm going. At the end of the day, I can go to my grave saying I tried. They be like, I don't know why you be saying this to them, children. You know how they are. They gonna think the way they want to think. Okay, well, a lot of them think the way they think because there's been no one to enlighten them on what the actual situation is. You know, just like with that Nicki Minaj situation where, you know, I got into it with some of the, you know, folks about like maybe they're feeling this way because nobody's explained to them how they're indirectly funding the demise of their own community. You know, so I speak on it. It never goes left until they get disrespectful and they, you know, as my grandma used to say, they smelling themselves.
Even with them getting disrespectful, we understanding that we're talking to a younger generation, right? I know it's first of all, they don't want to be told anything because whatever they believe is indoctrinated into their head, and that's what they kind of stick with. Do you always think that your approach is the best approach? Or do you think that sometimes you can just inbox them like, hey, let me talk to you or let me speak to you? Because I do see sometimes when y'all are going back and forth, it gets pretty heated. Like y'all go to talking about each other's mammies, the ugly dogs.
I ain't never talked about nobody mammy or the
cat,
ugly dog.
The three-legged cats and shit. And it can get very heated. And what I learned about arguments is that when it gets that heated, no one hears nobody.
And that's when I block them.
I'm trying to one up you all the time. So how do we reach them though still? Because they still got to be reached. So do you think that your approach is the best approach or do you think you can handle it different sometimes?
I don't think I need to handle anything different. I think that I'm called to who I'm called to. Some people are just hypersensitive and are just super hard-headed and they just want to believe they want to believe. And then you got to remember, these kids grew up with social media in their hands. They grew up with tablets and iPads and all of that. So they're used to trolling. So they say these things and then they think that they're turning the party because they call me a 42-year-old punk. You know, but then when I clapped back and I was like, baby, what I would recommend you do is crack a book instead of a makeup palette. Then I become the bully, you know, like learn yourself something before you try to come for this 42-year-old punk. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to teach you something, but since you don't have the capacity to hear or to comprehend when someone is trying to give you some sound advice just because you're stubborn, stuck in your ways, and you want to be a troll, then I'm gonna say what I need to say, and then I'm gonna block you so that I don't have to subject myself to the willful ignorance that you put online, because that's a problem for me. I hate that. That's a trigger for me. I hate to see, especially our people, just online saying dumb shit. You know, like I would try my best to reach out, but some people, like, they're just hard-headed. And the thing that people don't know is a lot of the times I do inbox these individuals. You know, I do try to, you know, say something to them, or I try to reach out to someone that is in close proximity to them. And I'd be like, hey, you know, why don't you talk to them? Because this ain't cool. But then, you know, you have those people who are just messy, you know, and then they go back to this, like, oh, child, Kendall said this, he called me talking about, we need to talk. Well, no, I called them to talk to you because I didn't want it to go to this point, you know, because I know how some of y'all are. So, like, I tell people all the time, I'm a bully of bullies. I am a troll to trolls. You know, if you get out of pocket, whereas a lot of my generation, they're just like, oh, child, I ain't gonna say nothing. You know, no, I'm gonna put you in your place.
So you believe
in your place, and then I'm
fire.
gonna leave it alone. You say what?
So you don't mind fighting fire with fire? I
don't mind.
So then,
you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. And I don't. My thing is, I never go below the belt. Like, my way with words sometimes can cut deeper than your insults to me.
But they wearing their belts in a different spot now, so you might go below the belt.
Well, you know what?
The belts is
you said a mouthful there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, sometimes the truth cuts, the truth hurts, or whatever. And when I'm telling you, like, what you're saying is crazy, and you know, I would do a little research on what it is that you're talking about before you open your mouth to talk about it. For a lot of people, you know, I can understand why it makes them feel as though they're imbeciles or they're less than, but that's never my intent, unless you have just flat out insulted me. Then I'm going to say something in a way where I don't have to insult you, but I'm going to put you in your place and let you know I'm not the one to tongue wrestle with. Not when it comes to that. I can spar with my words. My mom taught me from an early age. You don't have to put your hands on nobody. Use your words.
So do you feel like that has, being an outspoken person has caused you any type of negative consequences as it relates to the community in your career?
I don't think it's.
Do you think that people? Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't think it's caused me any negative consequences. I had a promoter recently who contacted me and let me know that they didn't want a controversial king, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You don't want a controversial king, then maybe I'm not the king for your system. Because when it comes to certain affairs, I'm always going to speak up. I'm always going to speak out when it comes to the state of America, when it comes to the state of my Black people. When I feel like we're making us look bad, I'm the person that will speak up. Now, if I'm under a contract that says I can't do X, Y, or Z, like I'm the type of person that will abide by my contract. I did it for Duval. I did it for Cosmo. I'm doing it for Magnifique. I did it for all of the other systems that I've represented and I've reigned for.
Hey, Dre.
But I
am very much a person who believes in standing in the gap for those who don't have the capacity to stand up for themselves. When I see people being bullied, I'm gonna come to their aid or their defense in some manner. Like it's no different than what I'm doing with the elections right now. That's just who I am. That's who I was raised to be. We stand up to bullies. We fight back. We don't lay down and play possum. And I feel like that's what even this new generation expects from the elders in the community. They expect them. They just think that they can say whatever they want to say and be disrespectful to us, and there'll be no recourse. There'll be no, consequences.
Yeah.
Like
so then. Go ahead. So how did you become so politically aware and so politically involved? Because, honey, when I tell you something comes up, you have some things to say, and it's not that you're just rambling. You can tell that you're speaking from a place of not that you've seen it. You've researched and you know what you're talking about. How did you become so involved, or has this something that you've always been?
I've always been this way since childhood.
Okay.
I grew up with grandparents who were Afrocentric, borderline prejudice. My grandfather's father was shot in the face by the KKK in front of him.
Wow.
I was raised in the Deep South, so I've experienced some things. I've seen some things, and again, I come from that Baptist church upbringing, that Pentecostal church upbringing, where like we stand in the gap. We get out there and we do what needs to be done in order to be the change that we see in the world. You can't just sit around and complain about something. Complaining about something without offering a solution is just complaining, and don't nobody want to hear that. So I like to put my my money where my mouth is, for lack of a better way of saying it. I like to put action behind my words, and so I've always been that way. That's why I've always done not just the voter registration drives, but I've worked in every capacity of the elections, from being a poll watcher, a poll worker. I've been a canvasser. I've been a phone banker. I've helped carpool people, from the neighborhoods to the polls, going around knocking on doors. Hey, have you been to the vote today? Oh, did you need a ride? I've consistently done the work. And a lot of people don't realize that about me. I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. This is stuff I've always done. I've been on MSNBC, on different shows where me just going on rants, calling the GOP out, went viral on Twitter, went viral on the Shade Room. Is on national television, just because of me doing what I normally do, So it's just who I am. It's always, been a part of who I am. And I don't think that's something that will ever change. And I think that I'm often misunderstood. I've heard the word aggressive probably 20 times in the last couple of weeks, and I can understand, honestly, why it would be perceived that way. But it's not aggression, it's passion. It's definitely passion. And when you get past, what you deem aggression, and you actually listen to, what I'm saying. Like I never really go, like I said, I never go below the belt. I never, stoop to, those levels of, disrespecting people. Sometimes they feel disrespected because I told them the truth, but I'm not for everybody.
Right. But so my question is, well, a question I do want to ask, do you think that people have become so sensitive that there's just certain things that they cannot hear or that they do not want to hear? Because, it seems that nowadays you can't say anything to anybody. And then when you try to offer correction, instead of listening, they become offended. Because in my opinion, I feel, especially when we talk about us as a people, I think we've become too soft. And I think that we have sat back and we have allowed people, we've gotten so comfortable in this world, in this country, that I think that we have really lost sight of the fact that we're never going to be one of them. They're never going to fully accept us as one of them. We're always going to be the other. And so when people ask me, well, why do you think that? And I said, because where we went wrong, especially after the civil rights movement, we took our foot off their necks, and we took what crumbs that they threw at us and felt like, oh, now we're accepted. And I feel like we never should have taken our foot off the gas. And I think that that's why we are where we are now. Give me your thoughts, because I don't feel like we're no longer our ancestors' people. What they had back then, this generation, the people, those of us that are here now, we never would have survived back in the 60s.
Right.
We would have all been buried and dead because we would not have had the strength to stand like they stood. What are your thoughts?
I think that a lot of that is because we didn't experience the struggles that they experienced. We are benefiting off of their struggles. It's just like when we talked about the whole situation with Venezuela, and how the Venezuelans were celebrating and ecstatic that they had sought asylum.
So before you go in, so let's put this into context. We're not going to call anybody's name, but before you go into that, so Trent, I don't know if you are aware of this. So the day after Trump invaded in Venezuela, kidnapped the president and the wife, and of course, there were, everybody had an opinion, right? And there were two sides of the spectrum, right? And so I think someone misunderstood why we as Americans were so angry with what Trump did, and this individual is looking at it from a different perspective. So what he posted was, for those of you all that are not from Venezuela, you don't understand what my people have been through, so you all just need to shut the fuck up, is what they said. That was the post. Now, Ken, go. I had to put it into I had to get some content.
We may need to get Ken on the political show next week too. Now,
right.
Y'all do a lot.
I don't mind. But it's not just two sides to that story. I believe it's three sides to that story. There's the Venezuelan side, there's white America's side, which was offended because Trump is not following protocol. He's not following policy. He didn't go through Congress before he made, an act of war on another country. That's what they were offended about. Now, the other part is Black America. And I think that people don't understand, how do I say it? They don't understand the contributions of our ancestors to today. When you think about it, like in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. In 1865, most of us are familiar with Juneteenth, which was June 19th, 1965. That was the same year that slavery was abolished, and Juneteenth was when the news got to Galveston, Texas, that the slaves were indeed free. So that's when the 13th Amendment was signed. 1968, that's when the 14th Amendment was signed. Then in 1868 is when the 14th Amendment was signed. In 1870 is when the Voting Rights Act was signed. Around 1877, through like the early 1900s was Reconstruction, Jim Crow era, all of that stuff. And then came 1964, we had the Civil Rights Act. 1965 was the Voter Rights Act. So from the moment from the time of Juneteenth, which was in 1865, to the Voters Rights Act, which was in 1965, that's 100 years. All of that time, we have been fighting for voting rights, fighting for voting rights. Our people were being lynched, beat, whipped, spit on, killed. Like they, of course, during Reconstruction era, they were trying to give certain people rights, all of that stuff. You had black men who gained the right to vote, but then they had, the poll taxes. They had the grandfather clause, where if you could prove that your grandfather voted, then that would grant you the right to vote if you had property. Then they had literacy tests and all of these things. And then even then, if you did have those things and you dared to vote, you had the KKK who was on your neck, and a lot of our ancestors lost their lives in this particular struggle. So for a person to say that me, a direct descendant of slaves, needs to shut the fuck up, when the only reason that you're able to seek asylum in this country is because of the struggles that my people went through for over a century, I have a problem with that. So that is the reason that, I took that tone, with them. A lot of people, they just don't understand, how we got to this point of having the certain freedoms, civil rights. We always talk about Dr. King and Malcolm X and, all of their contributions, but, I don't believe that some of them actually understand, how that got us to this particular point. So, I also think that one of the reasons that people go back to something else that you were talking about, they're so sensitive. It's this whole cancel culture thing, where when people don't necessarily agree with what you say, then it's automatic cancel them, or it's not about putting up a fight. It's about rallying the troops online to try to get them to go against the grain on those particular things. Like, I don't want to keep going on, but
no, I totally get it, because this is really important, and so I do want to ask, what do you think? Because when it comes to voting, our numbers are the lowest. We're some of the most underperforming voters there are. Why do you think that continues to be? What do you think is the reason? Is it because we feel like the country isn't for us anyway, so why should we even bother to participate? What do you think it is? Because we see everything that's going on, and I think, because for me, I think if people really understood the strength of our vote, if we were to really come together as a collective, I don't think that they really realize the power we could wield. But what are your thoughts? Is it because of a lack of education, that they don't, not education as far as book sense, but what is it that you think that they're missing?
I think a lot of it's willful ignorance. Some people just don't want to be educated on certain things, and then people don't want to feel like they're stupid. They don't want to feel like they don't know, and it's okay not to know something. Like, when someone comes to me and they're giving me some information about something that I didn't know about, I'm like, oh, okay, let me do a little more research on that. But nowadays, because they aren't involved, a lot of people just go off of talking points that they've heard online. They hear, oh, well, they say that Joe Biden did this, and they say that Kamala Harris did this. Like, this is about survival, and neither party is perfect, in my opinion. There are things that I don't agree with on the Democrat side. There are definitely things that I don't agree with from a Republican's perspective. But in this instance, like I said, it's survival. Like, we have to choose the lesser two evils. And you don't have to be like, I think that a part of it is people expect for politicians to be aligned with everything that you're aligned with. And that's never going to happen, especially in the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is such a large tent of demographics and different individuals, and trying to appease every single demographic under that umbrella it's going to be a tug of war, and it's never going to happen. So I think that what we have to do is figure out those issues that are most important to us. You know, you have some people even in our community who vote with their pockets. You know, they live for survival. So, you know, their thing is, well, as long as I have money gives me access. So I'm going to vote with the Republicans because, you know, they're for the top 3% of individuals who have, you know, these huge incomes that most of us don't have, you know. So they'll vote that way. Whereas, you know, you also have some individuals who, you know, feel like, oh, well, because the Democratic Party is for gay rights, or therefore, you know, liberties for, you know, trans individuals, that they're the party of trans and they're trying to push a trans agenda. And so they refuse to vote, you know, for or vote blue because they feel like, you know, that isn't aligned with their spiritual views or things of that sort. But, you know, I always counter that with telling people, well, none of us are free until we're all free. And just because you don't agree with something, just because you feel like something is wrong, doesn't make it a fact. That's your opinion, you know. And I have a huge problem when we try to impose our opinions on others. You know, that's how you feel about the situation, but that doesn't make it a fact. And, you know, I've always said that I want, you know, I want the Republicans out of my bed and the Democrats out of my pocket. You know, that's one of the sayings that I've said for the longest, because, you know, the Democrats, they do want to, you know, most of the time they're trying to, you know, get funding off you, tax this, tax that. But, you know, recently that has changed a lot, you know, and the progressive agenda is to go after the billionaires and now trillionaires, you know, to have them pay their fair share, you know. So I think what's going to change the dynamic of that is just us making these things more of a daily conversation. And I've been trying to do my best of doing that every day.
You have every day you do. Every day.
Midterms, I'm posting something about what's going on in the political, you know, diaspora or whatever, you know, just so that it becomes a constant, you know, conversation until I feel like when we know better, we do better. And a lot of the times people just don't know, because all they hear is this rhetoric and these talking points, you know, that are broadcast on mainstream media. And mainstream media is just trying to keep, you know, their advertisers happy, you know, so that they can get the ad sales and things. That's why I don't watch CNN. Very seldom do I watch MSN Now or MSNBC as it's
Thank you,
called.
Ronnie. Thank you, Ronnie.
Most of the time I'm watching Midas Touch on YouTube or some of the other podcasts. I can pull together a list of them for anybody who's interested, but they literally give you daily briefs, literally all day. They're posting everything that's going on, and it's cut no chaser. You know, it's straight no chaser.
Very
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
If you want to hear a Black perspective that's gonna go into the history, I'm talking about educated.
Baby, when I tell you Roland, now he gonna give it to you raw.
Yeah.
If you don't want to hear,
and that's what our community needs, because most people like it raw in our community. That's what they need.
Raw is law.
Especially this upcoming weekend leading up into Monday, it's gonna be a lot of rawness. But
the bitch is gonna have so many blue pills with them.
But I say that because when I tell you though, Roland, I bought a book. I bought some of his books, and the last book that I bought, which I think that's what a lot of what's going on right now in the country, it's for this very reason. So he wrote this book, and it's called White Rage: How the Browning of America is Making White People Lose Their Minds. So by the year 2050, minorities will be the majority in this country.
God damn,
and white people is it or has it the years keep going down because more people are, more minorities coming in, because it may have shifted to the 45 or somewhere in there. But anyway, they are so afraid of that happening because what's the first thing they're thinking? We're going to do to them what they have done to us all these years. That's why they're trying to get all of these minorities people.
And we're not even interested in doing to them what they did. We're just interested in living a better life, a more productive life for our people to come, and our what do you call it? Our generation that come behind us. We're just trying to make it better. Listen, we're gonna say something this for next week. If you're not doing anything next week, Kendoll, we would love to have you on our political show because you are very knowledgeable about that. And now talking to you tonight makes me understand you better. It's out of passion. And when you're an outspoken person, you're going to take a lot of heat because you do say what people are scared to say, and that who don't want to ruffle feathers. And our community needs that sometimes. And it's in those moments where it makes us stand back and realize like there's a need for something, So keep doing the work. I see your work. Your work is phenomenal. You're going to keep like this thing. You got 294 days to such and such. All of that is amazing. And we would love to have you on next week. If you ain't doing anything, it's going to be Wendell. We got.
It's going to be a great conversation.
It's going to be a great conversation.
It's going to be amazing.
I just think the community needs it a lot. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, thank you so much for all you do, and thank you.
We appreciate you.
And before you leave, we want to know from you, because one thing you say your mom told you is to stay true to yourself.
Thank you, Bishop. You're welcome.
Staying true to yourself, because everybody won't agree. Everybody will take what they want from it. Oh, it's just how he said it. A lot of times, even when our parents would say things, it's not always what we want to hear, and how they didn't always say it how we want them to say it, but it made so much sense. And as we went through our lives, we saw everything that they were saying to us come to fruition, come true. Right. Like, that's what she meant. That's what he meant. Leave us with something. Leave this audience with something that you would love for them to ponder on or think on.
If I could leave you one thing, it would be don't be afraid to be bold. Don't be afraid to go against the grain. That's what leaders do. We don't be a follower. Be balanced. For every person that you chastise, or that you have to, give it to them raw, pick up the pieces for somebody else. One thing I don't want to ever be is the straw to break the camel's back for anyone. So just be mindful of what you're saying to people. And it could prevent some of the reactions that you get and some of the responses that you get that offend you. You stop being a troll, and actually have a intellectual conversation, things might be a little different for you. And the last thing would be, just to be blessed, and when you've been blessed, pass it on. Don't be a gatekeeper, don't be a crab in the barrel. I want to see everybody win. There's room out there for all of us. There's opportunity for all of us. And that's the only reason that I am as passionate and speak to this community the way that I do, because I want to see us all win. So be bold, be balanced, be blessed.
Thank you for being so wonderful and so informed. We really enjoyed you. And like Trent said, please come join us. I get to be Abby Phillip. I guess Trent is going to be Don Lemon. We're going to have a great time, and it's just going to be an open forum. We're going to throw the subject matter out there, and we're just going to have a free for all and just talk about all things politics and how it affects our lives, whether you think you're participating in politics or not. You can't avoid politics in your life. Every decision that's made is a political decision. So we just want to, at least, when midterms come and whatever happens, we can say we did our part.
So you might not want to do anything. You might not want to be involved with politics, but I can promise you that politics has everything to do with you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kendoll.
On that note,
thank y'all for having me.
Man.
Have a great night.
That was amazing.
Baby, that was good.
Yeah, but
that was really good.
I want to say some of that good information for next week too, though. You know what I'm saying? Because, baby,
we've been going from the rooter to the tutor. We started from the beginning of the show all the way to the very end. We I think this was one of the strongest sessions we've had.
Yeah.
I think we said a lot of things that needed to be said. And maybe it's because of this shift. You said you're transitioning and you're shifting in your mindset. And maybe that's why this show, even from our first episode, I can see a shift.
Do you know this is episode 19?
Is it really?
This is 19.
Trent, I'm getting old. I have no concept of time anymore.
Me neither. No concept of time or days. Sometimes I don't know what day it is. I'm like, what the fuck? It was today.
They just all just seem to blend together. I don't know. So, but I enjoy every moment of it, though. I really do, because I just feel like, even with the conversations with the people that we get to talk to, I just feel like we're doing something that's necessary. I think it's very necessary.
Before all the mess, this is necessary. This, we can get online and tear each other down and do all this stuff, but we got to understand these policies. We got to understand what's going on. We got to get out here and vote. We have got to make a stand. We have got to be better than what we were. I don't want to go back to. I appreciate our forefathers, but I don't want to be in their positions. I don't want to be in a segregated world. I don't want to have to not be able to walk in my truth because the law says I can't.
Right.
I want to be able to walk freely through this world, and I want to do it in a way where I'm successful.
Right.
What is not an anomaly? It's not an anomaly to be successful as a Black man.
But
and
that's why.
A man.
But that's why I revolt against when people say we've been here before, because we haven't. We haven't been in a place where we had rights and they're being taken away from us. Before we were in a place where we didn't have any at all. Yeah. And then we slowly but surely started to gain them. But we haven't been in a position to where things were being taken away from us, where we've been enjoying these rights. And they should be worth fighting for.
Yes.
They should be worth, they have to be worth fighting for. And whether you think that this ICE thing is a Black issue or not, let me tell you something. They're already starting to pick up Black folks. So don't think that they're just going to stop. Don't think that they're just going to stop at the Latinos. You saw that the witch said, Ice Barbie said, everybody needs to start carrying proof of citizenship with them everywhere, all U.S. citizens. Wow. So that's letting you know where this is going. Please don't think, oh, we're just going to let this happen to them over there because this has nothing to do with us. No.
It has everything to do with us.
They aren't going to stop. And look at the position that we're in, okay? Because now that he's trying to do this whole birthright citizenship thing, eliminating all of that. So who's going to have the hardest time to prove where we came from? Our Black ass. Because we were stolen from somewhere and brought here. How are we going to prove where we came from? Where our lineage started. How are we going to prove that? We can't.
Yeah.
So come on, y'all. Don't think that this is just happening to them. No, ma'am. They've already been targeting us, but they're just waiting for another round. It's going to get worse. There's going to be some people, I hate to say it, there's going to see some people that won't see the victory of this situation. Because, our freedom and our rights, because what we're being led to is so bad that this has to be something that we're going to have to be worth, it's going to have to be worth dying for. We're going to have to get out there and we're going to have to fight.
Yeah.
We have to fight for our very lives because everything that we've ever known is at stake.
Not
But
for
let
no
me
Birkin
stop.
bag, not for
Yeah.
not for no 22-inch wig, not for no. We're gonna have to fight for our fucking rights and get out of
Yes.
y'all feelings. Get out of your feelings and get to the polls. Get out of
Please
your
do.
feelings and get into the facts. Get out of your feelings and get to work. You know, this is a collective effort. We all got to band together and make this thing work. We do. We need more Kendalls of the world. You know what I'm saying? People that ain't afraid to speak up. You know, the Rays, you, Nicole of the Pre, the Wendales, you know, all the people who get this information out to us, because all we want to see is who wore what in gown, and our favorite entertainer. We like to aggrandize our favorite entertainer to make them feel like they're above stuff, but you got to watch that too. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch who you following, because listen, there has to be some type of change. Listen, it's only been a year this man has been in office. 1 year.
1 year.
He's already wreaked havoc.
Yes.
1 year.
1 year. I mean, it's gotten so bad that even the International Olympic Committee is considering banning the USA from the Olympics.
Listen.
Because this man has gotten that bad. I mean, then it's gotten so bad that even our NATO allies have already sent military troops to protect Greenland, because this man said one way or the other, he's got to have Greenland.
Wow.
Look at what is happening, y'all. And while y'all going out there putting on your pumps and your evening gowns and your tuxedos, pretty soon, if he has his way, you're gonna be putting on military suits. You know, I'm not laughing because I think it's a joke, but I'm just saying that's how chaotic it is. And this man is completely just unhinged.
Unhinged.
And you know, and then because I know you have to tell me sometimes, Dominique, shut up. That's why the people.
Dominique, you be preaching. I love it.
Listen, I gotta learn how to shut up.
No, you don't.
Because that's why the people who tried to come to me this second time of Trump and said, "Oh, I didn't vote for him this time." I'm still mad at you because you got him in the first time.
That's it.
He never should have gotten into power in the first fucking place.
What are we
so
teaching
you are not forgiven because you didn't do this.
And do you know
you let this man get a taste of, because I think had he faced defeat the first time. Now I don't know. He's so narcissistic. Who knows? But maybe
he kept going till he got it.
Maybe he wouldn't have tried so hard to come back if he had gotten whooped and embarrassed the first time.
Child, no.
But child,
he never conceded.
Yeah, so no, ma'am, don't come to me saying, "Well, I didn't vote for him this time," but you voted for him this.
Y'all got to join us
the
next
first
week.
time.
Y'all got to join us next Thursday at 9/8 Central, because right here is where we're gonna really go in and listen. You got to tag your friends and everybody, because this is gonna be a good conversation. We're gonna break this shit down. We're gonna talk about things that's very detrimental to our well-being in this country. You know, they trying to take away our insurance. They're trying to take away all kind of stuff. And so we got to fight. We got to fight the good fight. But Dominique, we're gonna say something for next week, because I know how passionate you are about it. You know, happy birthday to Naisha Dupree. Today is her birthday.
Happy birthday, Naisha.
The Grand Empress of Atlanta. We are happy that she get to celebrate another birthday. It's always a blessing. My birthday coming up in February.
February the what?
22nd.
Okay. Do you have everything big planned?
No, I don't. No, I always think of stuff at the last minute.
Okay.
Also, we got Wesleyan. Check out my English. We got Wesleyan coming up, y'all, January the 24th and 25th. But on the 24th, we're gonna have the Emperor, the Grand Emperor, and Empress. It's gonna be Saturday, January the 24th at 6 p.m. So listen, govern yourself accordingly. Yes, I will be judging this pageant, so I'm excited about that. This is I don't know, I've judged it a couple times, 2 or 3 times. I don't know how many times. But thankful to D West to reach out to me, to want me to even come back. You know, that means a lot. And January the 25th, Mr. and Miss Wesleyan, the regular division, will be held. And I think it's at
Oh, so that's the next night. Okay.
That's the next night. It's gonna be 2 nights. So y'all get y'all
Okay.
things and come on. What is
Let
that?
me see if Spirit got anything for me.
Oh,
So I can
baby.
just bring a backpack. So I can just get a backpack.
It's gonna be
Come
at
up
it's gonna
there.
be at the Southwest Performing Arts Center in Atlanta,
Uh-huh.
Georgia. So y'all make sure y'all look that up and be in attendance. Westland is always a good path, and it's always a battle over there. Congratulations to all of the representatives who've done an amazing job this year at representing the title. We're so proud of them. And you have anything else, Dominique?
I've talked enough. And so I'm going
It's never
to
enough.
be quiet. I have talked enough, but I just appreciate you guys for definitely tuning in to us and just listening to us and giving us this space to do what we do.
Yeah, we love that. We love the support. We see y'all in the comments all the time. We love the support. Thank you so much. Anshante, I live for Anshante. Anshante, you did a song the other day by Kelly Price called Rain. Is it Rain? And I hadn't heard that song in so long. You made me put that back on my playlist. Thank you for
Okay.
doing that song. Yeah, and shout out to everybody who watch and support us. And have a good night. Remember to masturbate before you go to sleep. Or whatever. If you gotta make, bust
You're
that.
welcome, Bishop. You're welcome, Bishop.
Thank you, bitch. Make sure.
But to your point, because I suffer from insomnia sometimes.
Me too.
Baby, sometimes I wake up about 2 in the morning and cannot go to sleep
Do you take
for
anything?
nothing. I did, but I've run out, right? I take melatonin, but now that's starting not to work as well
Yeah.
as it used to. And I don't want, and I was at 10. I don't want to go any higher than 10. So then, but I've ran out of I started taking that Z-Quil and it works well for me.
I just saw that.
Oh, baby,
I'm
when
about to
I
get.
tell you that Z-Quil will lay your ass out. But let me tell you what I do for good measure, just to make sure. And I'm telling you, I have slept the entire night every time I've done it. I drink me a cup of Z-Quil, and then I drink me a glass of wine. And baby, when I tell you I am out of there, and I don't wake up till the next morning.
Like I've been staying up to 10, 11, and 12 o'clock the next day. And I'll be like, I can't. And if I go to bed too early, like my body gets right back up. And I think it's from being on sets all these years. The times are so different. You stand on set 15 to 18 hours a day, and then you go in and get a little rest and come back up. And I think my body just like it's still used to that, so
Yeah.
Z-Quil. I'm gonna definitely get some Z-Quil. Yeah.
Try that Z-Quil.
Hold out. Let's Dre. If you holding out, go and beat that meat before you go to sleep. Yeah, it makes you feel so much better. Sometimes that'll put me to sleep. Tony, sometimes they put me out, baby. Sometimes it don't. I do it about 5 or 6 times. I be like, God damn.
Wait, in one session?
No,
I was about to say that's a lot of beating going on.
That's a lot of beating, honey. Listen.
Oh my goodness. But child, you gotta do what you gotta do. When you gotta get up in the morning. Not the morning, in the morning.
In the morning. I gotta go out to Miss Pat house at 4:30 in the morning to do her. So I'll be doing that in a minute.
Yeah,
but I'm not. He said Z-Quil and wine. You want to step away from lean.
It will, but I'm telling you, I never wake up. I sleep all the way. I don't wake up until my internal clock will be like click, because I know Sean got to get up so he can get ready for classes. But baby, when I tell you I'll get right up, baby, I love it. I gotta have something. And since ain't nobody beating me to sleep, I gotta try something else.
They're not beating you to sleep?
Beating up Miss Kitty.
I just posted a video of. Do you know who Suki is? Suki with the good coochie.
I've seen like little things of her scrolling through Facebook, but I've never watched and observed.
Girl, she was in London and walking by these white women. She was saying, "I'm just trying to get my coochie scratched. I'm trying to get my coochie scratched." She said, "I'm about to eat some ass. I'm about to eat some nigga ass." Those white women, they had to clutch their purse. They're like, "What in the fuck?" That
What's
shit was so
going on?
fun. So you might need to get your coochie scratched, Dominique.
Honey, oh my God. Because I mean, like, because and this is the God to honest truth. And I know people think I'm lying when I say this. I have not had sex since February of 2020, before the pandemic.
You got cobwebs on your pussy.
Child, when I tell you, I had to
Are
go
you
do
just
a
being
colon.
selective?
Well, okay, first of all, the city that I live in now, because I moved to Columbus shortly after the pandemic. This is not a city that's good for trans women anyway. This is when you talk about this is a gay man city, this is a gay man city for sure. And I don't do the whole, find some guy that just you can't talk to him in public, but he want to come over at night no, I don't do those.
No,
so I would just
no matter what, listen, you need your pussy abused. Don't worry about he just want to come over at night. You at work in the daytime anyway.
Honey, that's why I'm trying to find me some employment in Atlanta, so then maybe I'll finally meet me somebody. Because if I can find, because I got a place where I can live, that's not the issue, huh?
Yeah, you gotta get somebody to beat that thing up.
Child, it's gonna be no hold back, honey. She gonna child. Listen, she gonna be so tight. He gonna come out with his foreskin again. He gonna go in circumcised. When he pull it, baby, he gonna have that foreskin back because she gonna rip.
That's almost 6 years.
But you know what? It's a different feeling. It's a different sense of freedom, I can honestly say. Because, I can't, it's hard for me to explain because, my once again, my great aunt, she used to always say, she would just tell us, when we were growing up, she says, you can't share that part of yourself with everybody. She says, that's a very special and sacred part of yourself. She said, everybody don't deserve to have that part of you is what she would say. Okay. And so, and that has also always stuck with me that,
so you're not no random fucker.
Oh God, no. It's gotta be somebody that I know. Somebody that I can't just be like, oh, hey, he's cute over there in the corner at the club. Let's no, I'm not one of those girls.
Okay, so you real picky and shit.
Yeah, right. And that may be it, Javon. No soul ties. Yeah.
Do you believe in soul ties?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I believe in that.
Yeah.
Do you get soul ties when you're doing it raw? But if you got a rubber, you're not gonna have no soul ties because you can't feel no friction, right?
No, but you're still giving of yourself. You're still, you're still giving.
Right, Bishop. Ain't that a long time? 6 years. You're going through a drought. Now let me tell you something. Now, do you have toys?
No. Because if something's going in there, I need something to be acting on its own behalf. I don't want to be doing that.
Dominique.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have to stick something on your wall and back up into it. You're gonna have to stick something on your wall.
I'm gonna figure something out.
To it.
I'm gonna figure something out.
We gotta get you a man.
Honey, that's what I've been saying, Trent. That is what I've been saying all along.
Your pussy gonna fail you.
No. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. When somebody get in there, he may not last long. Because I'm telling you that grip gonna be real.
Ain't nothing like somebody grip you like that. I'm telling you,
because that grip gonna be on the chain, baby. He gonna be like, damn. gonna be like, oh my God, he gonna in a few minutes
Javon,
he gonna say he coming already.
I'm trying to get to Birmingham, nigga. But
What's in Birmingham?
somebody I used to know. Remember Whitney Houston song
Oh,
that? Somebody I used to know.
well, honey, get it in for me, baby. Get it in
Somebody
for
I
me.
used to know.
There's
Sad.
it's somebody in Atlanta I wanna share it with.
Who? Can
But
you tell us?
I'm just ready for him to. Oh, you already know who it is.
He don't live
I've
here no
talked to
more.
you. I've talked to you about this person before.
He don't live here no more.
Who?
You talking
What's
about
the
Z?
initials?
Z?
No.
Oh.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, give me a hint.
The
Somebody
first name,
used to
the letter
know.
of the first name is K. And I had inboxed you about them before.
Okay. Collectors
And
don't
you
live
said,
here.
motherfucker, don't. See, I thought we were friends, but now I have a feeling you just being an asshole to me.
Collectors don't live here no more. She don't live here,
Child,
period. You try to
that
get
is
up on
not
Collectors.
hell no. Child, you know the
You got to inbox me.
and you know the person.
Okay.
You know the person, but no, child, no, Collectors ain't climbing on my back with them big old bosoms. Child, hell no.
Oh my
But
God.
I got my own fun bags. I don't need nobody else's on me. Shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You don't want that on you.
Oh, child, no.
I don't know. Listen to our followers and our views. Let me tell you something. Y'all got somebody that's looking for a stacked motherfucking queen. You better tell them about Dominique. Dominique need that pussy beat to the land of irrebuke. They need to whoop her pussy so bad it look like a slave when they get through. She need to have welt marks all around her motherfucking hole. You hear me? Somebody need to tear that motherfucking ass up. They need to hang her upside motherfucking down, sideways, under the motherfucking bed, over the goddamn bed. Let me tell you something. They need to fuck Dominique so much till her motherfucking spider webs explode out of her pussy. Do you hear me? Find Dominique. Listen. Find Dominique somebody. Find my girl somebody.
It's got to be somebody that needs.
And I'm talking about, are you a size queen?
No.
So it ain't
because, honey, listen.
It ain't got to be no big old dick.
No, you just, honey, it's about how you use that damn thing.
The motion of the ocean.
Baby, if
Kamaya, what's up, baby girl?
If you know how to use that thing, that's all I need. Because what I have come to find out, most men that have real big ones, they don't even know what to do with them. The sex be terrible.
To it?
And yeah, child, and you be having to do all the damn work because all they think that all they're supposed to do is just put it in because it's big and that's satisfying you.
They don't know how to stroke.
No, child.
See, I had to overcompensate for me not having no great big old dick. See, I had to learn how to fuck real good.
Child, it don't take all. I don't need all that girth. Ain't that what they call it? Girth.
Girth.
Yeah. Or length or whatever it is. It don't take all that. Honey, some of the best sex I had, honey. I think he was probably about 7 inches.
He tore that thing down.
Baby, when I tell you, I felt him the next day because he had stroked me. He had stroked me so good.
Did that nigga have a rhinestone belt buckle on?
No, he didn't have no rhinestone. That took me out. But then we called that you asked.
I said that.
Didn't you know what you said?
Yes, sir. But yeah, y'all, we looking for a date for Dominique. And they got to be in the Ohio area. Well, they don't have to be in your town.
No, child. They don't have to be.
They don't have to be in your town.
Child, honey, I'm a good woman. Child, too, honey, I cook my ass off.
Oh, you looking for a husband? You're not looking to get that thing beat up.
I mean, 2 things can be true at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Because it can start off that way, and then, honey, if I really like you, honey, I'm willing to relocate.
Oh.
Especially if you somebody of substance and somebody of value. Yeah, great conversation. That's a prerequisite. You gotta be able to talk to me.
Got to talk you out them panties.
Oh no. Well, no, because honey, if I'm attracted to you, I'm gonna come up out of them anyway. I don't need no invitation.
Ain't gonna even have none on. Hey, babe. See, yeah, so you gotta get a grown man with who had one of them big old dicks. He said the boys be trying to be Energizers bunny and fizzle out.
Honey, take that shit somewhere else.
Oh, he said it wasn't Alphonse. It was one of the grandkids, baby. Okay. Give us the initials. Kendoll, give us the initials.
Oh, who it was?
Yes.
Yeah, but honey, somebody gonna see what a treasure I am. They gonna scoop me up, and then I'm gonna be like Suge Avery. I was married now.
Oh, you trying to get married and all that stuff? Hey,
no,
Flame,
we
Flame, is you just getting here?
He said C. No, I think she was in here earlier. He said it starts with a C.
It's two. That's we need two initials, like first and last name. I need to go back and see all the people back in the early 2000s wearing rhinestone, but I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Flame said you a bust down. Flame, what's a bust down?
Flame, you tell me.
Well, do you like do you like men of trans experience, trans men?
I have spent some time with one before. We did not have sex. We kind of like fooled around. But you know, but you know, like Kendoll, if for me it starts with the conversation, right? And if you capture me mentally, everything else falls in line. So what's down there ain't going. That's not going to even be a factor for me. Because we gonna figure that. No, she ain't easy cat now, Flame. See, I thought you loved me. You should know I'm not easy, Flamey.
She not easy. She want to be courted. I'm just trying to get her fucked. She want to be courted.
No, I mean it just depends. Because if he got good conversation, he can get it.
He ain't got to wine and dine you and all this stuff.
Oh, no. Honey, we can sit around the house, chit chat for a little bit.
Drink your favorite wine, smoke a blunt.
Have some wine, honey. Have some wine, and baby, next thing I know, child. Oh yeah, mind sex. Cause honey, if you catch me there, baby, I'm very attracted to someone that has great conversation. I really am. Yeah, that's almost I can't deal with no dummy. You gotta have some thoughts about something.
Yeah, he gotta have he can't sound all stupid and shit.
No.
6 years. 6 years.
Listen.
6 years. Dominic, 6 years.
You don't have to keep bringing it to my recollection.
Dominic, 6 years.
Because you gonna get Sally upset.
Sally ought to be upset with you.
She already is.
Miss Sally Walker, baby. She's gonna be upset with you because you won't leave her unattended. You want to send shit through her, but you won't put nothing in her.
Listen, honey,
you gonna have to get out. You gotta go do some bars and stuff in the city. Dominique,
child, not in this city, child. Not in this city, child.
Unless
like
somebody send you a drink.
Honey, this is not the city for a girl like me. I need to. Yes, I have.
What part of Ohio you live in?
Columbus.
Yeah.
I need to relocate.
Well, get on you some sites. You're not on Plenty of Fish and all that shit.
No, but I saw one that's supposed to be geared towards girls like me. I'm gonna give it a try and see.
Let me tell you something.
See what these people are talking about.
Let me tell you something. You around here, fish is all outdoors, body yada yada. And I got girls like my sister KeAnte Cassidy who just put on a wig, and boys come over and tear her to pieces. Do you hear me? Only titties she got is her fat titties that she grew up with. No shape. Let me tell you something. My sister gets it beat the fuck in with just a wig on. She throws to the back. And you did telling me you down there ain't letting them boys come and okay.
Yeah.
So
I know. Don't be disappointed in me. Honey, God is still working on me.
What? And while he working on you, better work on something else. You better work on something else.
Honey, you are taking me through here, Trenton.
That's why I'm trying to get somebody to take you through there.
Honey. But like I said,
Flame, you've been on your flight. Flame, you in the city. Flame performed this weekend here, right?
I think so.
Oh, I'm going to come out to your show, Flame.
I think
see what it's giving. Hit me up, Flame.
I want to go see her in Vegas at Jimmy Kimmel's next time. Because I can't go because she's there in January. I can't go in January, but I really want to go see her down there in Vegas.
Me too. Vegas is a good time.
Yeah, because the last time I went to Vegas was for a pageant situation, but I want to go when I could be like, let's step out and let's have some fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna hold you up no longer, child. We've been chatting our ass off. Thank y'all again.
Because here we are, 36 minutes late. 36 minutes.
I know, talking about you getting your pussy.
We done dismissed Kendoll and we still here running our mouth.
Running our mouth, child. Sometimes we be trying to get off and then we go to talking about, our meats and stuff.
And everything, right?
Eating every goddamn thing. Listen. Again, thank y'all again for tuning in this Thursday.
Thank you guys
so
much.
Of BTF, Beyond the Filter. We'll see y'all next week as we get real deep into political shit, baby. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your daddy. If you don't know who your daddy is, ask your mama. Ask your mama who your daddy is and tell him and tell your aunties and stuff. Even if she got a mustache, she's still your auntie. Listen. Tell them, my auntie had the biggest mustache in the world when I was growing up. I'm like, damn, auntie, you're not gonna.
And what she said, Trent?
She said, I'm not shaving this shit. And doing it'll get thicker. I said, you're right. As I got older, as you shave.
That is what they say. Is that true?
It's true.
That it grows back thicker than it was the first time?
I said, at least line it up then, auntie. At least line the fucker up. Give it some shade.
Now you gonna act like she wanted the bearded queen.
No, my auntie had the longest titties in the world too. So think of this long titties and a mustache. So I've been around this shit forever. Don't nothing surprise me. No shit. Yes, Flame gonna be at the City Winery.
Okay.
Y'all wanna go check Flame out? I'm gonna have to get down there and see Flame. I don't think I got nothing to do this weekend. I'm going down and check you out, Flame. I'm gonna come down there and pull up on you. CS, hit me up when you get here. Sayas. But yeah. All right, y'all. We out of here.
All right, y'all. We love you.
We out this.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.